Dissidia is a unique entry in the Final Fantasy fold, as well as proof positive that the PSP's no slouch in this apparent fighting game renaissance. It chooses action over words, focusing on flashy one-on-one engagements. It's different from what you'd expect, given its subtitle, but in spite of its fanciful name, this fighter comes to prove that it's worthy of that Final Fantasy magic.
That was a joke.
Intervene and be slain!
You can try to ponder the title's meaning all you like, but Dissidia essentially breaks down to Latin for fighting game. Forget party members, ATB bars, and just about everything else you've grown accustomed to. Just know that 22 heroes and villains from the Final Fantasy multiverse find themselves embroiled in a mass conflict of good versus evil, and things are about to go down. In story mode, you'll go through a series of campaigns centering on each hero involved in the fight. You'll find out that it's less about telling a brand new story than it is about reinforcing the ones that already exist. How much you'll enjoy each campaign will hinge on your appreciation of the games that the heroes come from, as well as your tolerance for traversing the repetitive chessboard-style maps that determine who you fight next. Dissidia lavishes its characters with an abundance of cutscenes detailing their individual stories. The overall premise may be just a few degrees shy of a Kingdom Hearts fanfic, but with such incredible follow-through and raw story content, it's hard not to be amazed. And though Dissidia, for the most part, is a fully fledged fighter, the framework binding it together is distinctly RPG-like. Engaging in each battle, be it story mode, quick play, or arcade mode, earns you several currencies that go toward various aspects of customization. Experience points level up your characters, Gil lets you buy new items and accessories, and purchase points are spent on various goodies, like alternate costumes and bonus characters. It's almost overwrought in just how much it's trying to achieve, but Dissidia's pastiche of fighting and RPG elements makes for an unexpectedly cohesive combo. Characters grow and function the way you want them to, and neat little systems like Battle Gen, which randomly creates items when you fulfill certain conditions in battle, are varied enough to transcend a rote grind. Once you get into the groove of pushing for that next ability or unlockable villain, it becomes very easy to get sucked in. On top of laying the smackdown on computer opponents, Dissidia also supports local multiplayer battles via ad hoc wireless, as well as the ability to save, cut, and export your best fights through an impressive in-game editing suite. The lack of true online play is disappointing, however.
Well, fall into the shadow.
I can protect everything!
Though largely about one-on-one confrontations, Dissidia doesn't exactly conform to the modern conventions of the 3D fighter. There's rarely a moment when your feet are firmly planted on the ground, and with a heavy emphasis on navigating your surroundings, the game is closer in feel to something like Power Stone than Soul Calibur. Even less conventional is Dissidia's focus on Brave, a numerical value that sits atop your hit points. In short, hitting enemies with light attacks takes their Brave and gives it to you, while landing hard attacks deals damage directly to their hit points. How much pain you inflict is proportional to the amount of Brave you have, and there are plenty of ways this can shift during the course of a battle. In the middle of the screen, there's a neutral pool of Brave. By depleting your opponent's reserves and sending them into a break state, you claim that pool for yourself, giving you a massive boost to your offense while crippling their defense. Many fights are decided simply by virtue of the momentum provided by this feat. But there's also some peril involved in being overly aggressive. Every time you land a non-lethal blow, your Brave plummets to the single-digit range, leaving you vulnerable to a break state. And if a match comes to a Brave-swapping stalemate, EX power-ups littered around the map allow you to cross the impasse with a devastating limit break attack. There's an obvious play of tug-of-war at hand, and Dissidia's unique pace is all about maintaining your lead. Imaginatively realized characters like the magic-wielding Terra and the sly speedster Titus provide diverse fighting styles, and the interactive environments enable lots of unpredictable play. Fights lend themselves to eye-catching spectacles similar to those found in Final Fantasy Advent Children, and the various little facets that factor into the fighting system give Dissidia lots of technical appeal. Square Enix games are widely known for their incredible production values, and for a PSP game, Dissidia definitely continues to hold the bar high. The graphics are vibrant and fluidly animated, and the frame rate holds up very well in spite of all the chaotic action on screen. The game's plentiful cutscenes are a genuine visual treat, similar to the level of detail found in Kingdom Hearts. The retro imagery it deploys in its many tutorials and menu screens strikes some serious tones of nostalgia too. Dissidia is also just as easy on the ears, with an able cast of voiceover talent lending their pipes to each of the game's major characters.
The bonds between people are unreliably fragile.
Cutscenes sometimes stumble on the occasional line of odd-sounding dialogue.
I must do this.
But the game's suite of remixed classics is definitely sure to satisfy.
Malevolent wins.
Dissidia boldly marries an interesting new approach to fighting with some of the touchstones that the Final Fantasy series is built on. And though it takes some sizable risks at being different, the end result is great. It's everything that you wouldn't expect a Final Fantasy game to be, but if you're looking for a feature-rich time sink with fight and flair, then Dissidia is well worth your consideration.
What your brother says is absolutely true.